Sheila had always trusted her instincts, and now they stirred with quiet urgency as she watched the growing closeness between Deacon and Taylor. It was not a single moment that alarmed her, but a pattern. The ease in their conversations, the softened expressions, the way Deacon seemed lighter in Taylor's presence. To Sheila, this was not coincidence but momentum, and with it came the unmistakable fear of being left behind. Suspicion crept in slowly, feeding on every shared smile and lingering glance, until Sheila could no longer ignore the possibility that Deacon was drifting toward a life that did not include her. Yet, instead of reacting with the aggression so many expected from her, Sheila chose restraint. She approached Deacon not as an adversary, but as a strategist, offering calm where chaos was anticipated. Her words were measured, her tone almost disarming, as she proposed a solution no one saw coming. She claimed she was willing to let him go, to step aside and allow him the freedom to pursue Taylor without interference. The offer sounded like surrender, but it carried an unsettling precision, as though every syllable had been rehearsed with intent. The condition she attached to this unexpected generosity revealed her true objective. Sheila wanted Deacon's help in re-entering society on legitimate terms, rebuilding an image that had long been defined by fear and condemnation. She spoke of change, of legality, of proving that she could exist without causing harm. Deacon, with his fragile credibility and hard-earned reputation as a man trying to do better, was the perfect bridge between her past and the future she claimed to want. In exchange for his cooperation, she promised to keep her distance from his relationship with Taylor, presenting the deal as mutually beneficial and almost reasonable. Deacon's acceptance came slowly and painfully. Every instinct warned him of the danger, yet he felt trapped between his desire to protect what he was beginning to feel for Taylor and the fear of provoking Sheila by refusing her outright. Agreeing to help her felt like a betrayal of his own values, a compromise that threatened the progress he had fought so hard to achieve. Still, he convinced himself that guiding Sheila toward a lawful, restrained path might be the lesser evil, even as doubt gnawed at him with every step. With Sheila momentarily stepping back, Deacon approached Taylor more cautiously than before. Hope flickered beneath his restraint, tempered by the awareness that his life was once again tangled in secrets. Taylor sensed the complexity behind his careful demeanor, drawn to his sincerity yet aware that something unresolved lingered beneath the surface. Their connection grew quietly, marked by trust still forming and vulnerability cautiously shared, each moment shadowed by the unspoken risks Deacon carried with him. Meanwhile, Sheila began her transformation in small, deliberate gestures. She chose visibility over secrecy, patience over provocation, and allowed Deacon's presence to soften the edges of her reputation. Each calculated move suggested progress, a woman attempting to reshape how the world perceived her. Yet beneath the surface, her true intentions remained obscured, hidden behind a carefully constructed narrative of redemption. The uncertainty surrounding Sheila's ultimate plan cast a long shadow over everyone involved. Deacon stood at the center of a fragile balance, torn between love and compromise, while Taylor unknowingly edged closer to a storm she could not yet see. Sheila, watching from the margins, appeared calm and compliant, but the danger lay in what she had not revealed. Whether her restraint signaled genuine change or merely a more patient form of control remained unanswered, leaving all of them suspended in a tense silence where trust and threat existed side by side. The proposal came to Daphne like a sudden gust of wind, warm and overwhelming, carrying with it the promise of stability, devotion, and a future carefully imagined by someone who loved her deeply. Carter's words were sincere, his hope unmistakable, and for a brief moment she allowed herself to picture the life he was offering. Yet, even as she listened, another vision rose more vividly in her mind. Ateliers filled with fabric and light in Paris, late nights spent sketching silhouettes that belonged only to her, and a career built not in anyone's shadow, but by the strength of her own ambition. The joy of being loved collided with the ache of a dream she had carried far longer, and Daphne felt the quiet panic of realizing she could not keep both without losing herself. Carter, meanwhile, stood firmly in his faith that love could anchor everything else. He believed in shared paths and compromises, in building happiness together step by step. Unaware of the storm gathering behind Daphne's composed expression, he allowed himself to hope without restraint, certain that their bond was strong enough to shape the future. The contrast between his confidence and her inner hesitation grew sharper with each passing moment, until silence itself became unbearable. When Daphne finally spoke, her honesty cut cleanly through the illusion they had both been holding. She refused the proposal not because she lacked feeling, but because she understood herself too well to pretend otherwise. Her dream of forging an independent fashion career was not a phase or a whim, it was the core of her identity. She explained that choosing marriage now would mean surrendering a part of herself she had fought too hard to claim. The words were measured, but the pain beneath them was unmistakable, and as they settled between them, they carried the finality of a door closing. For Carter, the aftermath was devastating. The loss was not only of Daphne, but of a future he had already begun to inhabit. He moved through his days with a hollow ache, questioning his worth, his timing, and the balance he had always tried to maintain between love and work. The separation left him disoriented, as though the careful structure of his life had collapsed without warning, forcing him to confront emotions he had long kept neatly contained. It was during this fragile period that chance intervened. Seeking distraction more than inspiration, Carter crossed paths with a new designer at Forrester Creations, a woman whose work defied convention and whose confidence was quietly radical. Her designs spoke of risk and individuality, and her presence challenged Carter's long-held belief that success required constant sacrifice. Through conversations that were unexpectedly candid, she questioned why ambition and emotional fulfillment had to exist in opposition, planting ideas Carter had never allowed himself to explore. As they began to collaborate, something in Carter shifted. He rediscovered the excitement that had first drawn him to the fashion world, the sense of possibility that came from nurturing raw talent and bold vision. The partnership awakened a renewed sense of purpose, reminding him that growth often follows loss, and that reinvention is not a betrayal of the past, but a response to it. In Paris, Daphne's life unfolded much as she had hoped. Her career gained momentum, her name slowly carving out space in an unforgiving industry. There were moments, quiet and unguarded, when thoughts of Carter surfaced, tinged with tenderness and gratitude. Yet regret never followed. She understood that choosing herself had been an act of honesty, not selfishness, and that love, however sincere, should never demand erasure. Over time, Carter found his balance again. The pain did not vanish, but it softened, reshaped into understanding. He came to see that the end of his relationship with Daphne was not a failure, but a turning point that redirected him toward a future better aligned with who he was becoming. What once felt like abandonment revealed itself as an opening, and through it, Carter stepped into a new chapter, one defined not by loss, but by renewed promise and a clearer sense of his own path forward.